this session. So if you're just joining the recording, we will probably be using a strap towards the end of the class. So you might want to have one nearby. And we're going to begin lying down. So let's make our way over to our mats and begin lying down. And of course, support your head if that's more comfortable for you. Start with your feet on the floor. And just take this time to arrive where you are. This moment here now, lying on your mat, feeling your body. And take this time to check in with how you're doing. So we have how we're doing physically. So how's your physical body this morning? Maybe you're warm, maybe you're cold. Hopefully you're not cold. Maybe you got, some issues, some challenges that are happening in your body. Just recognize those, acknowledge them, and offer yourself some empathy for how you're feeling physically. And then let's check in with how we're feeling emotionally this morning. So as we were discussing when we came on, it's been a really challenging year. And maybe the challenges of this year are very present for you right now. Maybe there's some hardship, some difficulty that's weighing you down. And go ahead and recognize that and acknowledge that. And offer yourself empathy, compassion for that reality that you're experiencing. And at the same time, even though there are difficult, challenging things in our lives, we can also perhaps be feeling some joy, some happiness, maybe the beauty of the snow outside, or maybe some nice, happy thing that's happened in this recent time of, the holiday. So we can recognize and acknowledge the struggles, the challenges that we have, and honor those. And still also recognize the joy, the happiness that sustains us in our lives. So, can we be present to the fullness of our emotional experience at this time? So, recognizing how we're feeling physically and emotionally, let's check in with what we might be needing. Because underneath our feelings are our needs. So, what do you need today? Some days we need to be really tender and kind with ourselves. Some days we need to be really patient and understanding. with ourselves. I mean, we always need all these things, but what's the most deserving need that you have that you might be able to work with this morning, that you might be able to offer yourself? This is an hour that we have just for ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to offer ourselves what we need. So let's invite in an intention, a focus for our practice this morning that will address our need. That will support how we're feeling. And as we're inviting in that focus, let's start to deepen our breath. Let's breathe that focus in with a nice deep breath in. And then let's exhale the breath all the way out. You can blow it out if you like, or you can let it flow out through your nose. We'll breathe in through the nose if we can. Nice, full, deep breath in, inviting that intention into your body, into your practice. And then allow the breath to release and empty all the way out. And just let the exhale be an opportunity to let go of some of the heaviness, the difficulty, the challenge that we've experienced this year. So nice, nourishing inhalations and full emptying of breath, the releasing and letting go. Do that a few more rounds. And then just begin to transition to a more natural breath rhythm. Try to keep your focus on your breath. We'll try to keep an awareness of our intention this morning as we begin our movement practice. So I invite you to open your eyes if they were closed. And let's take feet off the floor, grab onto our knees and hug them in, and gently sway side to side, just freeing up the low back a little bit here, massaging the sacrum. And then coming to center, we'll draw the knees apart as we take a deep breath in. Let the knees kind of circle away and then draw them together, hug them in close, draw the knees apart, circle them around, draw them in, hug them in close, go the other direction. Let the knees move away, open them out, draw them in, hug them in, let the knees move away, open them out wide, and then draw them into the chest. And then we'll lift the legs up in the air, releasing our arms at our side. We're just going to alternate flexing and pointing the feet. And just kind of feel your legs, see your feet, focus in on your body, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. Let's circle the feet around in one direction and in the other. Maybe just kind of marveling at your feet. Aren't we lucky to have these feet that have carried us this far? All right, go ahead and bend your knees and release your feet to the floor. And then We're going to take one leg. Let's take the right leg, lift the foot up, lift the leg up, and drop the foot on just above the other knee. So that ankle is resting on the other knee. And then let that knee kind of open out away from you. Give it maybe a little push. Let the knee open away from you. And then we're going to take the bottom foot off the floor and bring it in. So we end up getting a little bit of a stretch in that hip on the top leg. And we can flex the feet. That can just create a little more stability in that top knee. But that bottom leg is pulling in, and we're maybe experiencing a little stretch in that hip here. So can you take a breath in, and on your exhale, can you try and curl your hips up a little bit? So you're pulling this bottom leg in, but you're also using the belly to lift the hips and then roll back out. So we're going to curl up. We're going to inhale as we roll out. We're going to exhale and try and curl up a little bit. So we'll get a little more of a stretch into the hip. We'll start to wake up the low belly in this way. So we're curling the hips up and then rolling back out and then curling the hips up and rolling back out. Just a few more like this. Maybe feel how the low belly is firing to curl the hips up and lower. Last one, curl up. And this time you can release that bottom foot to the floor, but we're going to keep this top leg as it is. I want you to take your right arm out to your side now. And then take your left hand and lift your head up and cradle your head with your left hand. We'll take a breath in. As we exhale, we're going to start to knit the ribs to curl up. And then we're going to twist across. Take that elbow towards the opposite knee. And then we're going to lower back down and breathe. We're going to exhale and curl up and twist across. And then inhale and lower back. Exhale, knit the ribs, curl up, and then twist across. And then lower back. So sometimes we end up pulling on the head rather than really thinking about twisting across with your elbow. See if you can think about twisting your left ribs towards your right thigh. So you work more from your trunk rather than just from your neck and head. So we're curling up and twisting the torso across. We'll do a few more of these, waking up the upper belly and those oblique muscles. Let's do two more. We'll curl up and twist across and lower down and curl up, twist across. Just stay here and see if you can lift a little bit more and then lower back down. Nice work. All right, we're going to change legs. You can release your hand from under your head, release that foot to the floor, and then lift the other leg up and drop the ankle just above the knee. And just with your hand, kind of push the leg away a little bit and then pick the bottom foot up off the floor to draw the legs in towards you. You can flex your feet here. And as you're hugging in with this bottom leg, maybe feeling a nice stretch in that outer hip and taking a breath here. And then just with your arms on the floor, can you take a breath in, and with your exhale, can you again curl up a little bit, get your hips to lift up a little bit, and then roll back out, and then curl up, and then roll back out. So you're not using your arms pressing down to curl up at all. You're just working the low belly to lift the hips up and then roll back out. Maybe deepening that stretch into the hip as well. We'll do a few more of these. Last one, lift up, roll out, and then you can drop that bottom foot back onto the floor. So take your left arm out to the side now. Take your right hand, lift your head up, cradle your head with your hand. Take a breath in. As you exhale, just knit those low ribs down into your belly and then twist across, elbow to knee, and then lower back down. Keep doing that, but rather than elbow to knee, I mean, that's the direction you're going. But think about bringing those right ribs towards your left thigh. So that rotation is coming from your trunk. The arm and the head are just kind of following along. And we'll do a few more of these. Waking up the core here. Last one, as we come up and come across, could you go just a little further? And then lower yourself back down. All right, let's release that foot down. Extend your legs out, reach your arms overhead. Take a nice big long stretch like you're waking up in the morning, reaching long through your fingertips, through your toes. Flex your feet here, reach the heels of your hands overhead. Take one more breath. And then just let everything relax as you exhale. Great. Let's roll to our side. As we come onto our side, we're going to come onto our bottom forearm. We'll get the elbow right beneath the shoulder. And rather than sinking into this, we'll push down so there's some space from ear to shoulder. And let's start just by lifting the hips up. So we feel how the bottom sideways works to lift us up, and then we'll come back down. So we're going to do a movement with the top leg. Let's take our arm up in the air. So one option is going to be to do this with our hips on the floor. We're going to lift the top leg up. We're going to swing it forward, and you can reach toward that leg. We're going to lift the leg up again, and then we're going to lower it down. So we're lifting this leg up. We're swinging it forward, touching it. We're lifting the leg up, and we're lowering it down. So we can do this with our hips on the floor, or you could lift your hips off the floor and do the same thing. Lift the leg up, swing the leg forward, lift the leg up, and lower it down. You can take a break with your hips on the floor if you like. Lift the leg up, swing the leg forward, lift the leg up, and lower it down. A few more of these. Lift it up, swing the leg forward, lift it up, lower it down. Are we doing this movement in a way that is supportive for how we're feeling this morning? Maybe you want the challenge to do it the way I'm doing it. Maybe this morning would be nice for you to be doing it a little more gently. So do it the way that works best for you. One more time. Lift the leg up, swing the leg forward, lift the leg up, and lower it down. Nice work. Let's swing our legs out in front and come over to the other side. So again, we have our elbow right under the shoulder. We push down to lift up. We can stack our knees here, and we can just lift up and get that action in our awareness. And we could do this with our hips on the floor. We can lift the leg up, swing the leg forward, lift the leg up, and lower it down. We could also lift our hips up and then extend the leg. Lift the leg up, swing the leg forward, lift the leg up. As the leg comes down, you could drop the hips and then come up again. Lift the leg, swing it forward, lift the leg, lower it down. Lift it up, swing it forward, lift it up. You can breathe with this here. You can inhale up, exhale forward, inhale up, exhale down. Let's do a few more. Inhale up, exhale forward, inhale up. One more time. Lift it up, swing it forward, lift it up, and nice work. All right, let's make our way to all fours. And as we arrive here on our hands and knees, just move around a bit so that you free things up. You might move your hips a little, you might move your head a little, you might really play around with placing your hands firmly down, feeling the ground beneath your hands. And once you feel really solid in your position, I want you to kind of bring your awareness to your spine. And of course, with our spine, we have this natural inward curve in the low back. So if we do cow pose, we very naturally can arch the back or extend the spine in the low back, but it's more challenging in the upper back, which has a natural rounding towards the ceiling, right? So if we put a little tone in the belly, So if you draw your belly in a little bit, so that you have a little less potential to arch your low back, by drawing the low belly in a little bit, now can you try to extend your spine a little more in your upper back, pulling your heart forward. So a little less of a drop in your low back and potential for a little more extension in your upper back. And then come to your flat back. And so just the opposite is true. It's a little harder to round the low back. It's really easy to round the upper back. So could we try to create more flexion or rounding in the low back and just kind of minimize what's happening in your upper back? And one way to do that is maybe take the hips back a little bit. So you feel a little more flexion in your low back potentially. So rock forward to your flat back, draw your belly in, and then try to extend your spine. So you get a little bit of extension in your low back, but maybe a little more potential in your mid upper back. And then come to your flat back and then begin to round your back, but try to do a little less in your upper back. Try to create a little more flexion in your low back, maybe taking your hips back a little bit. And then just do cat-cow as you normally would. Just free yourself up to do it however feels nice in your body. Couple of times. And then come to your flat back. Let's sit back on our heels and drop into child pose. Supporting your head in some way. Take a moment here. Just see how you're doing so far. And are you breathing in something that is serving you this morning? Knowing that we can always breathe in love and compassion for ourselves throughout the practice if we're not sure what else we want to focus on. Then with our next inhale, we can lift our heads up and reach our arms out. Let's make our way to downward facing dog. Feeling our hands pressing into the floor. Maybe bending the knees a little, or maybe bending the knees a lot as the hips draw back. Let's let the head just dangle and shake, yes and no. Freeing up the neck here. Let's try some deep breaths in and out here. So we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to let our exhale be a big sigh, a big So do that a few times. This is a great way to release the breath when we're upside down. So use this opportunity. With the diaphragm upside down, it can release a little more fully. Do that one more time. Let's pedal the heels a little bit, alternating. And then taking the hips way up and back. Let's begin to walk the hands back towards the feet, dropping the heels down, ending up folded over. You can shake your arms a little bit, shake your head, just feel your upper body loose and floppy here. Then really ground through your feet. Take a deep breath into your upper back. Again, let it empty all the way out. And then draw your belly in and begin to roll yourself up. Taking your time to stack your spine. And slowly, gradually bringing your head up. Feel your feet root down. Reach your arms out wide, broaden. Then reach your arms up and overhead. Take a breath in, stretch up, lift your heart. And then exhale your arms down at your side. All right, let's turn to face our device. And have your feet beneath you or maybe slightly wider than beneath you. We're just going to start a little bit of rotation here. So you're going to kind of rotate your torso and your arms, you're just going to let them kind of follow the rotation of your body. So your arms are just kind of loose and they're just kind of following along. And let this just be a sort of natural, organic movement. Let your body twist from side to side. Let your arms be really heavy. And rather than looking at your device, let your head kind of follow your body. So your head is turning with the rest of you, and the weight of your arms is kind of swinging around. And this can be a nice way to kind of let things go, kind of release tension in the body, and kind of release things we've been holding on to. So just kind of feel the heaviness in the arms and let the weight that you may be carrying just drop off of your shoulders, slide down your arms, just let it release off of you. Kind of free yourself up. We carry a lot of burdens, a lot of heaviness, and a lot of challenge this year, a lot of deprivation. So maybe we have some frustration, there's some sadness, some anger. So let's see if we can just feel that just kind of dropping off of these heavy arms of ours as they swing around. And do that for a little bit longer. And then just start to slowly finish up that movement. And let it diminish. Until you eventually, gradually let go of that side to side movement. And then when you feel ready, just kind of bring your hands to heart. Kind of come back to your center. Connect, you might close your eyes, connect with your center line, your midline. Come back to who you are. Come back home to yourself. Connect with your heart, with what's most important, with your true self. The part of you that is always with you. Take a breath or two here. Find your center, your stability, the oneness of you. And take one more breath. Let it go. And then drop your arm. All right, we're gonna move to the front of our mats. We're gonna do a little flow. So let's start rooting down, standing tall. We'll take the arms and reach them out. We'll lift them up as we breathe in. And as we exhale, swan dive forward. Fold over. Release your head, release your arms. We'll take a breath into the upper back. As we exhale, let's extend the spine forward. Really try to extend right between the shoulder blades, extending forward. And then inhale and fold over again. And we'll bring our hands to the floor and step back to down dog. Rounding down to lift up and back, we'll take a breath. As we exhale, let's lower to straight arm plank. Let's hold here for a breath. And then we might drop to our knees as we take a little bend in the elbows. Let's take another breath here. And we might drop to our knees and then lower ourselves down. All the way onto belly, prone mountain here. Let your chest sink into the floor. Hover your nose just barely off the floor. Back of the neck long as you look straight down. Reach back through your toes. Let's slide the shoulder blades up a little bit. Slide the shoulder blades down. Feel them moving on your back. Do it again. Slide your shoulder blades up and slide them down. Sometimes we're really tight between the shoulder blades. Let your shoulder blades land right where they like to live. Let them be nice and relaxed right on your back. And then from right between the shoulder blades, start to lift your chest up and start to pull your heart forward as the heels of your hands press back. So you're lengthening the spine here. And then let's lower back down. Breathe out. Let's do that again. Inhale and lift up to that baby cobra. Let's lift our hands off the floor. We'll lift our elbows up and hug them in. Feel the upper back working here. And then release the hands, release the chest back down. Let's keep our hands down this time and inhale up to baby cobra. We might stay here or we might come up a bit higher into cobra, extending long through the spine. And then we'll lower back down. Let's push back up to knees, curl the toes under and lift the knees up, and then pull the hips up and back to down dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's create some space across the upper back between the shoulder blades. Allow the breath to empty. We'll look forward and walk our feet up towards our hands, planting our feet beneath us. We're going to take a breath into the upper back. And then as we exhale, we're going to sweep the arms out, then lift them overhead as we're breathing out. And we'll inhale as the arms come down at our side. Again, we're going to exhale to bring the arms overhead. A little different. We're going to inhale to swan dive. We're going to exhale to extend the heart forward. Inhale to fold over. And then hands to the floor. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Let's take a breath in here, broadening across the upper back. Exhale and lower to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale and bend the elbows a little bit, or a little bit more perhaps. Take another breath here. And then exhale and lower all the way down, prone mountain. Let's inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. And then exhale back down. And then make our way up and back to downward facing dog. Nice. We'll breathe in and out here. And then let's lower onto our knees. And we'll come up to stand on our knees. We'll take one foot forward. Let's take the right foot forward. Take the right foot forward and get your heel either under your knee or a little forward of your knee rather than back behind your knee. And have this knee in line with this hip rather than a narrower stance. And then just start to put the weight in the front foot and start to let that front knee move forward. So this back hip is going to move forward. Sometimes when we move forward, we dump into the low back, so a little tone in the belly can be nice to support this. So we're getting a stretch in the front of that thigh and the front of that hip as the knee moves forward. Kind of move back again. Now, can you put some weight in the back knee and shin, kind of pressing down as the front knee moves forward? So there's a little more integrity, a little more action in the quad muscle as it's stretching here. And then push back. One more time, we're going to push the knee and shin down. We're going to take this front knee forward, this back hip forward. And then let's take this back arm here and swing it up. So that knee and shin are pressing down, the arm is reaching up. Let's add the other arm reaching up. Let's take a breath as we press down. We're going to lift up. As we exhale, let's bring the hands down on either side of the front foot. And maybe let the hips sink a little further, if that feels all right. Now let's put this left hand on the floor. We'll take the right arm out to the side, and we're just going to open into a twist. Lift that right arm up. Try to keep the right knee from dropping out to the side. Hug it into your midline. Take a breath here. And then bring the right hand back down. And let's just push back onto the back knee, and we're going to change sides. So step your left foot out in front. Again, heel beneath the knee or forward of the knee. And then we're going to start to let the front knee move forward. Starting to stretch into the front of that back leg. Little tone in the belly here to support the low back. Push back. Now weight down that back knee and shin. Press them down and then take the front knee forward. Maybe you notice it feels a little different. And then push the weight back. Again, press that back knee and shin into the floor as the front knee moves forward. Yeah. So as we're here, let's take that same arm as the back leg and reach it up. Pressing down with the knee and shin as the arm reaches up, and then the other arm can reach up as well. Nice big lift here as we breathe in. And then as we exhale, we'll bring the hands down. Right hand on the floor, left arm out to the side. Let's open that arm up toward the ceiling without letting the left knee open out to the side. We'll breathe in and out here. And then let's bring that hand back down. All right, let's curl the back toes under and press up to a lunge. We'll bring the front hand on the front knee, and then we'll bring our hands to hips. We're going to bend the front knee forward and straighten the leg. Bend the front knee forward and straighten the leg. Bend it forward and straighten and bend. Let's keep the knee bent. Drop the arms down and sweep them forward and up. Breathing in. As we exhale, we're going to hinge forward. We're going to again bring our right hand to the floor and open the left arm out wide into a twist. Keep that left knee hugging into the midline and take a breath. And then bring that arm down. Let's step the front foot back. And we can drop to knees again. We're going to step the right foot forward. And then we're going to lift the back foot up, lift the back knee up, and then press into the front foot and rise up. Hands on hips, we're going to bend the front knee forward and straighten it. Bend the front knee forward and straighten it. Bend the front knee forward and straighten it. This time we'll bend the front knee forward and keep it bent. Drop the arms and sweep them forward and up. Breathe in. We'll exhale our hands down to the floor. Left hand on the floor, right arm out to the side. Open that arm toward the ceiling. Hug the right knee in towards the midline. Breathe in and out here. And then bring that hand back down. All right, let's make our way back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And just stay here, or we could flow one more time into straight arm plank, lowering ourselves all the way down. Inhaling up to baby cobra or cobra. And exhaling down. And making our way up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. Let's walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down. We're going to bend the knees and lower the hips. Sweep the arms forward and sit back in our chair. And then reach your arms up by your ears. Breathe in and out here. And then push down to rise up, reach up. Exhaling arms down at our sides. Nice job. All right, let's come into a wide stance. And nice big wide stride. We'll turn the right foot in. We'll turn the left foot out. Get those feet really solid, planted. So sometimes we just have weight on the inner edge of the back foot. Let's Put weight on the outer edge as well. Same thing, spread the weight out on the front foot. And then hands on hips. Let's bend the front knee and straighten it. Bend it and straighten it. Let's bend that front knee. Keep it bent. Let's move from the hips and tip the hips over, letting this front forearm rest on this front leg. We'll bring the other arm forward and let's sweep it overhead. Thumb up, pinky down. And then we'll roll the belly and chest under that arm to face this long line of our mat and reach long with that top arm and breathe. Good. Now sweep that arm down and then place that hand back on that hip. We're going to turn our gaze to the floor. We're going to take this front hand and place it on our shin. So we're going to look right down at our front foot here and notice where your head is in relation to your foot. We're going to try and start to straighten this front leg without letting the head draw back. So can you keep your head right where it is, your gaze right where it is, as you start to straighten your front leg? The head wants to draw back, but if you can keep the head where it is, you can get a little length in your spine. And that front leg might get a little bit straight, might get more straight, whatever amount of straightness, it has the potential to create a little more space in your spine. Take a breath, in and out. And then take your hand that's on your hip, reach it forward, begin to open that arm up toward the ceiling, coming into triangle here. Yeah. Press down into your feet. Lengthen out through your spine. Broaden from your center, from between your shoulders, from hand to hand. Breathe in and out here. And then press down to rise up. Okay. Let's turn our feet forward, and then we'll go the other way. Right, turns in, out, the other way, and let's bend and straighten. Yeah. Bend and straighten. So can you feel your connection of your feet to the floor as you're doing this action with bending and straightening? And then once the knee is bent, we're going to tip our hips over and let this bottom arm rest on this bottom leg. We'll take the other arm forward and sweep it overhead. Thumb up, pinky down. You kind of roll it down a bit and then roll the belly and chest towards your device or the long line in your mat. Reach long with that arm as you breathe in and then sweep that arm down and place your hand on your hip. We're going to take our gaze to the floor now. We're going to take this bottom arm and press it into the shin. And then noticing where your gaze is, and you keep your gaze right where it is as you start to straighten your leg. So the head doesn't draw back. You just create a little more space here. Just see how that feels and take a breath in and out. And then take the hand on your hip, reach it forward. And then open that arm up. Get wide, get long from your center, fingertip to fingertip. Get long in your spine. Get rooted in your feet. Take one more breath in and out. And then press down to rise up. All right, turn your feet forward. Hands on hips. Let's let the hips go forward, let the heart lift up, draw the elbows back and in, and take a breath. And then come upright. As we exhale, we're going to hinge forward to flat back. Then we're going to hinge all the way over, letting your hands slide down the legs. Your knees can soften as your head starts to drop toward the floor. You could be in a nice bent knee forward fold here. Or if you like, you could try to lift your sitting bones up and stretch your head down and in. So it might be a very active stretch, it might be a very passive stretch, your choice. Breathe in and out here. Then bring hands back to hips, press into your feet and legs, inhale halfway up. Pause here to breathe out. And again, press down to inhale and come all the way up. And you can heel and toe your feet in or just dump your feet together. All right, let's make our way down to the floor. And we're going to lean back on our hands behind us. We're going to take our feet wide apart. Get your heels wider than your hips. We're going to let the knees drop to one side and roll to the sides of the feet. We're going to come up. We're going to roll to the other side of the feet, letting the knees drop the other way. We're going to come back up. Again, we're going to let the knees drop over to the other side. And this time we're going to let them go all the way down, bringing the arm from behind around. Let both legs come down. So this front foot is kind of in front of the back thigh. This arm that was coming around, sweep it around. We're going to reach around towards the wall behind us. Reach long and take a breath. And then as we come back towards our device, we're going to orient over this front knee. One hand on one side of the knee and one hand on the other side of the knee. And we're going to lower our chest down. We're going to come onto our forearms maybe, if we can get that far. So you might be on your hands, you might be on your forearms, your head might come closer to the floor. Your chest is over this front thigh, this front knee. And we're going to breathe into that front hip. And let that breath go. If your head doesn't touch the floor, you could stack one fist on top of the other to support your head. Take another deep breath in and out here. One more breath. Then we'll begin to lift our heads up. We'll bring our hands on either side of that knee. Can you push down with that leg to help you come up? Great. We're going to start to lean back. So we're over here. We're going to start to lean back and bring the knees up. And we're going to roll to the other side. So we'll roll to the sides of the feet. Let the knees come all the way down to the floor. This arm from behind can come around. We're going to spin it around and reach towards the wall behind us. Taking a breath. And then as you start to unwind and come back, bring your hands down on either side of that front knee. And then lower your chest over that front thigh, that front knee, and come down however you can. So that maybe you rest on your forearms, maybe you stack fist on top of fist, so that your head might be able to be supported. If you're not there, that's fine too. Just try to bring your weight over your front leg and breathe into that front hip. And let your breath empty out. One more breath in and out. And then we'll lift our heads up, bring our hands down and lift our chest up. And then we'll lean back, bring our knees up. You can straighten your legs out. All right, we're going to make our way onto our backs and we're going to use our strap. So find your strap and make your way to lying down. And then we're going to place that strap around the ball. Let's say the right foot. Let's start with the right foot. So place the strap around the ball of the right foot and hold it in your two hands. Slide your other leg out straight on the floor. Bounce that leg on the floor, bounce the knee a few times, and then let that leg be nice and heavy and loose. Imagine there's a heavy, warm sandbag on this bottom thigh, just keeping that bottom leg heavy and drop down. Now this leg that's up in the air, let the leg kind of fall away from you until the leg is straight and you're holding it up with your hands holding the strap. So the leg is relaxed, your arms are holding your leg up. The leg is straight because it's further away from you. if you use your hands and start to bring your leg up towards more and more straight towards the ceiling, at some point, depending on how tight your hamstrings are, at some point, your knee is going to bend. As it comes further and further up, you reach the end of your hamstring mobility and your knee starts to bend. So go to the point where your knee starts to bend and then go back a little bit to the point where your leg can be straight. And where you're at that point, right before your knee bends, start to push your foot up into the strap, pointing your toes, and resist a little bit with your hands. And then pull your foot down to flex and use the strength of your leg to add some resistance. So with a little bit of work to flex your foot. And then push your foot up into a point and pull with your hands. So resist that action. And then pull down, but resist that flexion with strength of your ankle. One more time, just pushing and pulling with resistance here into a point and into a flex. So you're stretching the leg with some action in the muscles. Yeah. And then put the two parts of the strap in your right hand. Let your left arm open to your side. Try to keep your hips steady. Don't let that left hip lift or roll as you slowly, gradually take that right foot out to the side. So again, just paying attention to how far you can go and maintain that stability, that midline stability. Go right to the edge. If you went any further, you would roll. And then push your foot into the strap like you're pointing your foot. And then bring that active leg back up toward the ceiling. And once the leg is up, flex the foot down. Great. Let's open the strap up. And we're going to slide that bottom leg up and place the ball of the foot in the strap. We'll release the right foot down and straighten that leg out. Bounce that knee a few times. Let that bottom leg be really heavy. And then this top leg, holding the strap, let it fall away from you until you're just holding a straight leg with your arms, with the strap. The leg is relaxed. And then with your arms, start to slowly, gradually lift the leg up toward the ceiling, paying attention till you notice the point where your knee starts to bend. And then when you get to that point where your knee bends, just back off a little bit till the point where your leg can still be straight. And then push up into the strap with resistance. And then pull down to flex your foot with resistance. And do that again. Push up. And pull down. One more time. So we're stretching the hamstring with action in the leg. And pull down. Great. Put the two parts of the strap in your left hand. Let your right arm open to your side. Start to open that leg out to the side without letting that right hip lift or turn. Go right to the edge. And once you're there, point your foot into the strap. And then bring that leg slowly, gradually back up. And then flex the foot down. Nice job. All right, bend your knee, take the strap off, set it off to the side. We're going to start to transition to our final relaxation. So you might want one more movement. You might want to, whatever, hug, twist, whatever feels good. And then when you're ready, set yourself up for your final pose. So that might mean putting on a layer if you're feeling a little cool, or covering up with a blanket. It might mean putting something under your head or under your knees. So what could you offer yourself to be the most comfortable? Go ahead and do that. So that when you lie back, you feel comfortable. Which will then make it easier for your body to relax, which is what we're gonna go for here. Feel that sensation of release. Let your body receive the support of the floor. Give the weight of your body to the floor. And allow all the muscles that normally hold you up to soften and release now. There's no work to be done. There's no instruction to be followed. Our only thing that we're doing now is allowing the body to relax in its own way, on its own time. Slowly, gradually, softening, settling, releasing, relaxing. There's a time and a place to be productive. And there's a time and a place to just let yourself be. No need to achieve anything. This wonderful body of ours carries us through so much. And now we give it a chance to rest. And as the body relaxes and the facial muscles soften and release, we give our minds a chance to rest as well. When we let go of the have tos and the shoulds and the way we think we need to be, we have a chance to connect with our deeper self. Connect with our inner nature, our inner light, our inner spark, our true essence that animates us from within. Each of us is unique and incredible. We see that in every child that is born. And that unique, incredible child that was you is still you. Light, energy, and love. We see it in little ones. It's still in us. Connect with that. Offer yourself love and appreciation. And you might choose to continue lying back longer. You might need to quiet your device, but feel free to stay as long as you like. If you're ready to transition now, you might open your eyes. You might bring your feet to the floor. As you roll to your side, take a few moments there to transition. Before making your way up to seated. And it's always nice to close out your practice with just a little time for reflection, for prayer. Or gratitude. I want to recognize and acknowledge and thank all of you for staying with me this year. It's been an interesting year, but this opportunity to be together has really, for me, been quite sustaining and has really helped me make it through this tough year. So I thank you deeply. And I'm glad you were here. And I wish you all a really wonderful year ahead.